1996. This was the year I turned 5 years old and officially began my schooling career. Kindergarten was fun and exciting, and I felt as if I was doing really well. Apparently, my teachers agreed and recommended me for the gifted program. I didn't realize it at the time, but this one act placed me on a track that set the framework for my entire academic career. As the years passed and I got older, one constant remained: my gifted class. I would spend the first half of the day in my regular classroom, and after lunch I would march down to my gifted classroom. There, we engaged in more hands-on learning instead of the traditional teacher talks, student listens, or banking method. The students in my gifted class stayed virtually unchanged throughout the years. A couple of students were added to the program in my third grade year, but generally we saw the same faces every day, every year, all the way up until 5th grade. 2002, the year I started middle school. Gifted classes were pretty much the same as they were in elementary school. We'd spend some of the day with everyone else and the rest of the day among our own, so to speak. Some of the faces were new because both of our district's elementary schools funneled into one middle school, but soon the new faces became just as familiar as the old ones. I had friends who weren't taking advanced classes, but I felt like I never saw them. We would spend time together if we shared electives, and we tried to sit together during lunch, but there was at least 1 year when I had to have lunch with my advanced classmates, which widened the gap between me and my friends even more. Being placed on a specific track also allowed me to enjoy certain privileges. For example, our middle school had a program/class called Peer Helpers. Peer Helpers were basically 8th grade classroom assistants. We would run errands, help set up activities, and aid the teacher in whatever way he or she needed. I signed up and was chosen to become one along with a few other students. But interestingly enough, most, if not all of them, were the students from my gifted classes. One of my friends who wasn't in the gifted program had applied as well, but he wasn't selected even though he was more than qualified. 2005, the year I started high school. By the end of 8th grade, the tracks were becoming clearer and clearer, and in high school, every student was either swept into the college prep track or the tech prep track based on standardized tests and teacher/counselor recommendations. There was a hidden third track as well, the honors track. This was a subset of the college prep track and held most of the same students that I had taken classes with since elementary school. There were a few new faces in my honors and AP classes, but generally, my classmates once again remained unchanged. 2008, spring of junior year, and the setting of the most important test of my academic career, the Georgia High School graduation test, an as of now defunct exam that determined whether or not a student will graduate from high school. I was told by teachers, my counselor, and older students that I had nothing to worry about. "You're taking honors classes. You'll do fine," they said. I did well, my gifted peers did well, but some of the students on the tech prep track did not. Some of the material on the test were from classes that weren't even offered to tech prep students. How were they expected to do well if they were never exposed to the material in the first place? Separating students from their peers, building one group up while pushing another down, assuring success for some but not all. This is why tracking is flawed. It not only affects a student's academic success, but also their attitude towards school. Some of my tech prep friends, for example, criticized Upson Lee for having lazy teachers who couldn't care less if their students succeeded or not. This is a vastly different view than I had of school. But how could anyone be expected to succeed if they're viewed as less important than someone else? Schools should hold high expectations for all of their students, not just those who are perceived to be, quote, more intelligent than others. They should offer help when needed, but not assume that a student will fail just because he or she may need a little more extra help. Above all, schools should be a place where every child is encouraged to do their best and they're given the proper tools to help them succeed. I don't believe that's possible with tracking systems. Detracking schools can be a long and arduous process, but I believe the chance of creating a stronger and more positive learning environment is worth it. Don't you?